In this presentation, I'll be looking at the ongoing Football Supporters Association's Stop Exploiting Loyalty campaign that exists within modern-day English football. Football fans up and down the English Football League pyramid are financially fleeced and manipulated week in, week out for the economic benefit of clubs and organisations, all at the expense of their loyalty and devotion towards their team and their passion. Throughout this presentation, I will identify key social, political, and economic issues that help to shape sports operations and organisations and highlight how these issues are detrimentally affecting the landscape of football in the country. I will also draw upon the role of journalism on this particular topic and how impactful the journalism has been on its audiences by commenting on the general public reaction. To begin, I will explain a little bit about the topic, give some context behind the campaign, and why it's become an issue in recent times. Stop Exploiting Loyalty is a national story affecting many up and down the country. It is a relatively new movement designed to help unite football fans in the fight against extortionate and increasing ticket prices and protect the footballing tribalism that makes the game so special. Throughout the ongoing 24-25 season, supporters groups of Premier League clubs have teamed together and protested outside the grounds, standing in unison prior to kick-off, with one simple message to their clubs and the governing bodies: stop exploiting loyalty. These demonstrations have gained traction in the media, with the campaign becoming national news on many occasions. Within this journalism lies several news values, which fundamentally determine the selection and newsworthiness of an event. In this case, the news values of relevance and the power elite are applicable, as the target audience are directly impacted by a contemporary issue, and the story involves the discussion of powerful organisations and governing bodies such as the Premier League and the FA. It is feared that traditional football fans are being pushed out to make way for a new style supporter. As Birdsey and Chappell suggest, football conveys and communicates social, political, and cultural meanings and how to build identities. This identity appears to be shifting due to the financial crisis that exists within the modern game. Journalism has played a significant part in promoting and advertising the campaign and getting the word out there on a national scale. Articles are predominantly used as a way of educating the target audience and acts as a source of information as to how regular matchgoers can stand against the price rises and exploitation, issues that directly face them each week. Whilst a national story, this subject could be scaled down locally, with regional newspapers and other forms of journalism allowing supporters to tell their respective stories, creating a positive connection between journalist and target audience. Typically included in these articles are statistics and data which highlight the significance and severity of the price changes, how impactful these can be to supporters, and what this may mean for the future of the sport. Moving on, I will now look at some of the social factors and issues that relate to fan exploitation and raising ticket prices, starting with a divide between socio-economic groups and the role of globalization. Nowadays, football clubs are steering towards the prioritization of international audiences, corporate clients, and tourists over season ticket holders and loyal supporters, leading to a divide between club and fans and shifting the traditional fan identity. Fan alienation is another concern, with many supporters feeling underappreciated and undervalued by their club, leading to a disconnect and the sense of a lack of community. This harmony, as we know, is crucial to the success of a football club. Crabb suggests the loyalty and expression of identification witnessed amongst football supporters has been noted as an exemplar of sport fans' social inclusion. Many individuals use football as an escape, their hobby, and a form of feeling attached and included in the social group. There is also a generational divide, with younger fans being restricted of opportunities to engage with the club due to now being priced out, while older fans, who appreciate traditional club values, now feel excluded. Fans face social pressures due to the fear of missing out on a big European fixture, for example, and clubs will exploit this by raising the price of a ticket under the knowledge that people will pay it regardless. On a more positive note, this campaign has showcased the power of collective action, with fans, even rival groups, leveraging social media and on-location protests to voice their concerns on the matter. Considering political issues, ownership models are often discussed, with many football clubs in England now American-owned and adopting a new business model that looks to develop the club into a franchise that focuses heavily on maximising profits in every department. Sports washing is of another concern, and political complexities often arise from state-backed entities and foreign investors who use the popularity of sport to redirect public attention away from unethical conduct that may have previously been associated to that group. Newcastle United and their Saudi Arabian investors are a good case study for this in the modern game. The Stop Exploiting Loyalty campaign is an act of a form of activism, allowing fans to voice their concerns and lobby governing bodies into regulatory change. Additionally, the UK government has initiated reviews to address these concerns and considers policies such as ticket price caps, ownership reforms, and fan representations at clubs. Last year, the Football Governance Bill was entered into the Parliament and is still under review, but the Act looks at establishing an independent football regulator to oversee English football, an initiative that aligns synonymously with the objectives of the Stop Exploiting Loyalty campaign. There are many economic factors and issues associated to this subject, including, crucially, commercialisation and PSR rules. Financial constraints within the modern game sees football clubs prioritise profits over its loyal fans, often using these rules and regulations as an excuse for their business operations. Strategic and dynamic pricing relates to clubs releasing tickets at specific times to optimize the most sales, and many will inflate prices based on the type and significance of the fixture, meaning there are no boundaries to the exploitation. Clubs will lure fans in by releasing additional activities and opportunities and release copious amounts of merchandise, including up to 4 kits per season and newly introduced player travel and training wear. Football clubs in the English game continue to attempt to recoup lost revenue from the COVID-19 pandemic by raising ticket prices. However, due to inflation and the current cost of living crisis, fans are finding it hard to justify spending on football-related expenses. This comes at the fault of a lack of regulation in the country. Despite a cap set on the price of an away ticket, clubs are free to charge supporters whatever they like, without the consideration of fan affordability, highlighting the need for more equitable ownership and the potential demand for an independent football regulator. Moving on to the journalism showcase, Article 1, titled Stop Exploiting Loyalty Message Reaches Millions, is a national news story that highlights the outreach and growth of the Stop Exploiting Loyalty campaign, referencing the high viewership numbers of millions at the ground, on TV, and across social media platforms. Published by the association that created the campaign, the FSA, the article draws upon the previously mentioned social factors of generational divide and activism through comments made by journalist Gareth Cooper, who said, "It's a message to Premier League boardrooms that prices going up season after season, the targeting of concessions, targeting kids' tickets, pensioners' tickets, disabled tickets, none of this is acceptable." This shows that many football clubs have removed concessions as of this season, excluding older and younger fans, but supporter groups are fighting back and advocating for change each week, addressing and sending a sincere message to the Premier League. The article is direct and provides information on the protest statistics during Game Week 10 of the Premier League, continuing to promote the campaign and release a no surrender plea into the media. Article 2, titled "I'm going to have to stop taking my kids to the match, it's appalling," was published in the Manchester Evening News by senior reporter Chris Slater, and is a local news story that discusses the impact of rising ticket prices on the community of Manchester, more specifically fans of Manchester United Football Club. Highlighting the outrage experienced by United fans who saw an overnight ticket price increase in November of last year, the article includes the social factor of fan alienation, but also detailed the political issues of ownership models, with minority owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the drastic changes he has made during his tenure mentioned heavily throughout the piece. Speaking to fans, Chris Slater extracts human emotion and endeavour into this piece of journalism, thus affecting target audience, with many of the readers able to relate to the stories told in this piece. By Samuel Mead, a sports brand writer for The Mirror, highlights the extortionate ticket prices set by Tamworth Football Club for their upcoming FA Cup fixture against Premier League giant Tottenham Hotspur. The article contains reference to the economic issue of dynamic pricing, whereby the National League side have taken the opportunity to increase the price of a matchday ticket simply due to the size of their opponent and the occasion at hand, knowing their loyal fans will pay the fee no matter what. Subsequently, the lack of regulation is at large here, as the FA sets no limits or price caps for their home sides in the FA Cup, giving Tamworth the freedom to charge whatever they like and exploit their fans to no end. To exemplify, as mentioned at the bottom there, Tamworth are charging more than double the price of a National League ticket, with an adult ticket typically paying between £18 to £20 to watch for Lambs throughout the season. In the piece, Mead uses lots of data and statistics and writes in a way that signifies the exclusion and neglect of the Tamworth fans and the greed and financial obsession of the football club. To conclude this presentation, I will pose some questions and outline some of my thoughts on the back of the extensive research conducted on the hashtag Stop Exploiting Loyalty campaign and the ticket price increase subject matter. Football is an ever-evolving industry, and it is likely that the money involved in the game will continue to increase year by year, meaning ticket prices will, more than likely, keep rising too. This poses the question: how can football clubs find a balance between staying afloat economically and appeasing the fans who have helped set the foundations of their organisation? Could introducing a fan-owned business model and structure like that of the German Bundesliga be a fix? The Premier League generates the most revenue of all the football leagues around the world, including commercial and broadcasting income and sponsorship deals. Yet clubs within the institution demand the most money for their matchday ticket prices. The Premier League boasts the importance of accessibility in the sport, stating on the official website, the Premier League has a responsibility to encourage inclusion within the sport, yet contradicts itself by setting financial rules and regulations that have caused football clubs to raise ticket prices and exploit the fans. On this, as the hashtag Stop Exploiting Loyalty initiative gains more traction and attention, could we see a price cap introduced to limit clubs from manipulating and fleecing their supporters? Following the conclusion of the Parliamentary Football Governance Bill, could we potentially see an independent football regulator brought in to help achieve this? It is detrimental to the sport that something is done about the constant rising of ticket prices within the English game. The fans, who are the heartbeat of the sport in this country, and are literally paying the price at the expense of uneducated businessmen who do not understand the law and beauty of the sport beyond financial gain and profit margins. The message is simple: stop exploiting loyalty.